What's up, everybody? So welcome back. Don Fron Trading. There we go. So if you are new here, guys, I have two channels, right? This is Don Fron Trading, and there's Don Fron Show. Don Fron Show is where I'll go live. Here's all pre-recorded stuff. So in today's video, we'll talk about a Tesla rally. Are we gonna get one? Are we gonna see one? A play I made today. We saw the S&P rally today. We did not see Tesla, so it kind of made everyone curious. I was just waiting for the next volume bar to come in and just spike, and we see, is Elon selling shares again? I know a lot of people thinking that there's a blackout period where he can't sell. I don't know the dates on that. I do know those, obviously they exist, but I am not privy to that or what their dates are. If you caught Trader Merlin, so I've had him here before. I caught his show today, and he's hearing a number about 115, so Elon borrows against his shares, but anything below 115, basically margin's calling him up. So he wanted to pick out the bottom of Tesla, thinking it's around the 115 mark. So I do want to check that out. If there's anything in the charts, I'd put us right here at this level. I'm sure there's some trader out there calling that a bottom. Like old resistance, new support. People love to just pick like simple spikes out like that. I think if we were to make it that far, well, we're probably dipping on down at least to the 100 mark. In terms of that, this is where I have this 95. Might be a little bit picky, but I don't know. It'd be an interesting take. I'm very curious to see how it pans out overall. Looking at Tesla right now, we got a couple things, right? So we got all the Twitter noise, we got Elon selling, we have just the overall downtrend with momentum down. So puts now, they're pretty pricey. Oh, sorry. Again, just had surgery, so coughing on my stomach, so coughing is the most painful thing right now. Puts, if you want to short Tesla right now, you got to pay to play. That being said, if you want to collect some of that premium, there's a reason you got to pay to play. It's up there. So if you've ever wanted to invest in Tesla and you got an ideal strike, so Trader Merlin I just mentioned, he sold the 120 puts, and he doesn't mind buying Tesla at 120. If you're going to buy 100 shares, why not get paid to put the limit order out there? Hey, if I'm going to buy at 120, put my put my order to buy 100 shares. I can do that for free, or I can sell the 120 strike. Someone's going to pay me because they think they're going to get rich off this buying puts scenario. That theta is going to decay, and I could, if we get below there, I'll get assigned anyway. You were going to buy, so what does it matter to you? You'll actually have a little bit lower cost basis if you were to take that route. Kind of get paid to put a limit order out there. What I'm doing is I sell calls against my Tesla position, and in fact, I don't think I updated this yet. I don't know why it does that. There we go. I am in, so I actually closed this right now. Something I told my chat, I collected pennies on this, quite literally. Let me pull up my order real fast. These are the 145s. Hang on, I gotta find, I ended up taking a couple. Okay, so today I closed the 148s, opened the 145s. I'll make sure this is the right ones for 366. Okay, and then bought those back for 357. So nothing on there. But then I opened up 334 January 6. 2023. I went ahead and gave it a few extra dollars, the 155 calls. The reason I did this was, let's say 1221. Just give me 1 second. I actually do think we are in line. I'll finish this up for. We'll add our little pennies over here that we brought our. Did that bring us down? Almost. It almost brought us down to the 178s. Have I explained that here on this channel? something to do with my mentorship group. So I bought 100 shares. This is pretty close to my my average share cost. My average share cost on my main account is 197, so we're just shy of that. But I bought 100 shares. I'm trying to race it to see how fast I can collect premium, get my average cost to 0. Up until today, I was averaging about $1 per line, so putting me right at 0 at the 200 line mark. That's the goal. So I want to collect enough to do that. And I think at that point, maybe I'll take that premium, and then I'll double it down, and then we'll do more than one contract. So kind of how I snowball positions in my investment account that I wish I would have started a lot sooner. We'll have to do, it'll take quite a bit. So with me collecting premium and Tesla selling off, I'll pay taxes on this and still have enough to buy an extra 100 shares. So that's how we'll play that. Although in the meantime, if there's enough to do it, I will just sell puts with this premium. Because selling puts does, so if you're going to buy the 100 shares at 120 that we talked about earlier, you have to have the capital to buy that. So it will lock up that capital. So I can sell a put cash secured, which means it will lock up that capital. They'll price in worst case scenario, and they'll say, okay, we're going to lock up 12 grand, and we're going to put that aside. We're going to sell that put, and if it happens, you got to buy the 100 shares at 120. If not, you get to keep the free money. So maybe we'll open up a little column over here, and we'll see how much we can do before we ever even get assigned a single share, and see what it really does to the average cost over that. I don't know, a couple ways to play it. We got to get to 0 first. But anyway, I do think as it sits right now, we're probably a little oversold. This is a weekly zone I have. If you saw the last monthly zones, to me are I draw those out as green because they kind of overlapped. That's like one giant monthly zone. There's a lot of volatility in there. I do get this question a lot, like how do you know if the zone's too wide? Like I let the candles decide that, not me, not my opinion on things. It's all the chart. So to play, like there's no, your trade should match your time frame. So I would not be in here talking about the bottom of this and you're on the 15-minute time frame. Like, well, we gotta wait for the December to end just to see where that one landed. We got January, we got all of January to see where you even hold in that zone. So take this with a grain of salt. Now this green zone, this pink zone is a weekly zone. So I'm kind of thinking we're at the bottom of this. Let's see if the week holds here. We saw the S&P rally, and maybe everyone's gonna kick off the Santa Claus rally. If Elon himself is not selling, we don't have to overcome that first. Maybe the Tesla Colt buys a few shares. We send Tesla up a little bit and see a little appreciation. As it stands right now, if Tesla does pop up, all I would do is take profit on any puts. You know, again, not financial advice, but and then I'm just looking to get right back in. This trend down is just too strong. Like, sometimes you gotta just stay out of the way. Like when they say the trend is your friend, that's a thing. and the trend down is a really good friend right now. There's no one's shy to be selling Tesla right now. You got people begging and hoping and crying that because their investment shares are down, they want you to get on their bandwagon. You got people that are just going short, popping bottles. But then there's people that are talking about, oh, my investment shares are down, I'm diamond handies. But then back in, I can almost, well, first of all, I can just look at this chart and tell you, they're selling too. Even the bulls are selling. Like, this thing is its own avalanche right now. So if there was an oversold bounce, a dead cat bounce, all we're doing is just setting that leg up for probably the next bear flag. Until any real buy-side activity happens, I don't know why you wouldn't think that. I know I have a very small few people that will watch this, whether you're subscribed to this channel or not. You'll see a green candle like this, you'll forget all about it. Some people are so quick to call the bottom out, and the only thing they're going to do is get their bottom blown out because they're going to try to call the bottom. They're going to whole account some stuff, and it's going to just bear flag it up, turn it right on south, and then they're just going to be shocked and surprised. Now, those people I typically call job security because somebody's got to buy my shares. Somebody's got to be on the other end of that trade. So, not to be a dick, but there's plenty of people out there in the world that will not see this, that will not hear that. So maybe you don't. Maybe you're not on the other end of my losing trade. That'd make you. You're not on the other end of my winning trade. Don't try to take that from me. You're the loser. Just kidding. But when I've had this conversation as well when it comes to the S&P as far as the recipe for capitulation, because the buyers need to show up. The bears are just gaining all the confidence in the world. Buyers aren't really showing up. So what I mean by that is, like, Tesla, the bulls need to show up. Here's the bull showed up, they called the bottom. Bull showed up, they called the bottom. The bulls showed up, they kind of called the bottom. You see how just more profound these rallies are right here? Like these were turning and sending. We got that little bit of a base, send it. And then like here we're already just moseying and kind of working our way back south. Like that's a problem because now even the bulls aren't even showing up. Like we're not even getting the ebb and flow, and when that fails, when everyone clicks the sell button, that's when there's capitulation. And then does something like Tesla. How does something like Tesla fare? If it's already had this much of a trend down, how many people are close to their choke point right now? Like right now, their speculation sounds like Tesla or Elon might be around the 115 mark, or he's got to sell shares. He's got to cover some of that debt. How many people are like, you know what? I'm fine. I was fortunate enough to get in on this rally somewhere right here, but I will not let my position go red. I will just, some people are taking a loss because they bought in up here. Some people just won't take a loss because they bought right here. And they've already accepted the fact that they've watched their money go up and down for no reason, but they will not take a loss in general. They will cut and get back in. So we got to see just how, I think we are about to find out. If the bulls don't show up soon, now, the end of this year maybe, we're going to see, I think we will see everyone's choke point. Now, in my last video, I did say Tesla to 60 or 350. Which one first? Just to be very clear, please don't go to 60. Right? Do you see where we're at on my Excel document here? I'm in the 170s. Okay, I just cracked the 170s. I'll be selling calls for this YouTube channel. I won't be able to shut it down until I get that thing to 0. That will solidify this YouTube channel for the next 6 years if we're at 60. Please don't play with me like that. Elon, could you just buy some shares? 1 or 2? Cool. First of all, could you just stop selling? Second of all, could you buy some shares? Could Tesla buy some shares? You're one tweet away from changing this whole game. This little rally in these puts, we could turn to a rally into calls if you just pretend the SEC doesn't exist for a day. Didn't you like being the richest man in the world? Anyway, I know we got the really stupid indicator. It says we're a little oversold. Again, if you're new to my channel, that's what I call the RSI. All jokes aside, that is the relative strength. As you guessed it, strength to the downside in Tesla. If I were to take this thing seriously, if I were even to trade off an indicator, this is not the time to buy. When I see the RSI is oversold, I'm thinking it's not the time to enter short. Okay, the trend is down, so if you're a trend trader, you want to go short. Maybe not the most opportune time. So let's wait for a pop-up. If this goes sideways, you'll watch this creep right on up. Just like it did here. Tesla was sideways. Went from oversold. Look at this sideways action right here. All we do is drop, base, drop. We went from oversold to damn near almost overbought. And all we did was go up a couple bucks just to send it right back down. So if you're more of a scalper, intraday trader, money to be made. But, any one whole accounting call on the bottom, let's pump the brakes there for a second. Yeah, I'd like to get these YouTube streams back to politically correct. I can't do it if I'm talking about your backside getting blown out because your whole account is without any idea of risk management, and you're just buying because you believed in a ticker. You just can't believe harder and turn that thing around. Fundamentals about this, I don't think that's ever a question. I feel silly for even talking about this. Fundamentals on Tesla, I think, are phenomenal. I know a lot of people talk about it's a car company. I've never once talked about this being a car company. That's not the reason I liked it in the first place. The reason I actually liked this in the first place is more wrong than anything because I liked Solar City. I like the energy play that it will be later. Instead of paying your electric bill now, you'll pay Tesla for your electric bill. The grid is already there. All they need to do is build batteries, solar farms, and just say, hey, thanks for that grid. We're going to tap into it. Now you got to pay us. You just had the infrastructure built for you. Like that I think is going to be brilliant. That's going to be an industry it hasn't tapped into for a long time. So, as far as that goes, Tesla's got a ways to go for it before it can settle down. But any short-term stuff, and I've gotten a lot of people asking me this, so let's just be clear on this. People keep asking me with this Twitter noise, have you sold any of your Tesla shares out of your investment account? Right now, that's about as silly as me as like, hey, did you sell your Walmart shares because your McDonald's order was messed up? Like that doesn't even compute in my brain. And while you're scratching your head on what was that reference I just made, that's what I'm thinking when you guys ask me questions like that. Because why is it in your investment account in general if you're gonna let some noise like this just completely shake you out? There's a whole bunch of noise. Should you hear it? Yeah, you got to keep your ear to the ground. But that's pretty easy to brush through this. All right, so. He bought Twitter. Okay, there's some noise there. Maybe his focus isn't there. Elon himself, I'm going to stay on that. Elon himself is the one selling these shares. I could care less about Twitter. All right, I'm telling you right now, you could triple the Twitter noise. Right? Him and Ross Gerber could fist fight each other right now. If Elon hasn't sold a single one share, I don't think Tesla would be near this price it was. So I actually don't care about the Twitter noise. I think it's actually pretty easy to just brush that crap off. Fundamentally, what changed? That's actually a tough one to say, because fundamentally, when the CEO is selling that much of a company, that's I guess, does that fall in the fundamental category? Someone said the other day, I saw this on Twitter, and I maybe I just want to chime in on that. Whether Elon's selling his shares or not, the fundamentals don't change. He said if Elon sells all of his shares, the fundamentals don't change. Elon's got 450 million shares. That will change things fundamentally if you do, because if you're going to talk about valuations, like we're valuing this, whether you believe it or not. This is in the valuation right now. All these prices, that's there. And if he sells all of his shares, we're not sitting right now. We're sitting on top of a 450 million share count, being like just out of supply. You go throwing that in there, we have to absorb that just to get back to where we're at now. Then we got to talk about, hey, is it worth more or less? So yeah, if he sold all of his shares, I'm sure, yeah, sure, they'll still keep printing cars, but fundamentally, I think things would change at that point. We would have a lot of ground to cover just to get back to break even. And then where's investor confidence when their CEO just, and now this is I guess theoretical fairy tale land. This would be Gordon Johnson. It'd be a wet dream of his if Elon were to sell all 450 million shares he has. Yeah, that would be, I couldn't even imagine where Tesla would be at. Tesla would be about $7 a share. That'd be ridiculous. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. I'm going to wrap it up here. Just want to kind of come on and tell you guys that I kind of think we're set. We're hanging out right now at the 1 standard deviation down, so maybe we kind of rein it back in a little bit. Hopefully we're entering a blackout period so Elon can quit selling. Santa Claus kicks off a little bit of a rally you guys keep talking about, and maybe someone just buys a Tesla share or two. But that being said, any green, I'm just going to welcome it. I'm just going to continue to sell calls because we could see all of this. If I'm going to throw darts right now, I think March is the bottom. So I don't care where we're at. I think because there's levels that I zone out and charge. I think this one's going to be a little bit more of a stopwatch. Where does it go? Because I always talk about who's our buyers, who's our sellers. We know Elon's a big seller. So is he out of the equation or not? That's going to vary where we're at, but I think March is when we'll finally start getting, I think the worst of it will be over, because that next earnings call, people are going to find out, yeah, he was over at Twitter, but that's a whole lot of cars that just came out, even with the recession everyone keeps talking about. So, anyway, I'll wrap it up here. Let me guys know what your thoughts are on Tesla, as everyone's chiming in and giving their 2 cents. There's mine. At least it's free. At least it's on YouTube. You have to pay for it. But wrap it up here. See you guys in the next video.